some questions.
Yeah, great to be back home. Got homecoming weekend coming up, so it's a great time for our alums to come back and engage on campus. A lot of different things going on, not just athletics, but people come back because this place changed their life. So I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of new people probably and having a great crowd. Should be beautiful weather according to what it looks like right now, so couldn't ask for anything better there. And then we got a bunch of athletics going on, field hockey on Friday, then we got us, men's soccer, and then hockey opens up. So best of luck to Coach Carville. Fast, hard, prepared. Hopefully they play like that the whole year. So I got a great amount of respect for him and our relationship, and just reaching out to him during the off season, during the year, and just someone I look up to in terms of getting that program where it is now. It wasn't always like that. So credit to him, and best of luck to him on the season, staying healthy and playing how he wants him to play. So here we go. What do you guys got for me?
What did you make of AJ's performance, and will he start again on Saturday?
Yeah, I think he did some good things. Obviously the stat line isn't great. I think we had 4 or 5 drops. We still want to put his percentage around 50%. So, but I think there was good and bad. I think their defense makes it extremely hard. I think for both guys that have started the last 2 weeks, it's a little bit of different style of speed on the field. I think we got to do a lot of things better to help him or help whoever. So the decision hasn't been made. I'll keep that in-house. Make Western prepare for 3 guys, and we'll do what's best. And we'll always make a decision as what's best for the team and how we can win this week. So we got to come up with a great game plan. But everybody surrounding the quarterback, whoever it is, has to step up their game. All right. So we got to catch the ball. We got to protect. We got to run the ball more effectively. It'll be a team effort because this is a good football team coming in there. They are not a 2-3 team. They're much better than that.
Do you put any extra pressure on knowing that it's homecoming, all these people are coming back, and it's an opportunity for you and the program to put a good foot forward?
Yeah, I don't think there's extra pressure. I think everybody just wants us to get it done, much like we do. But being back home, homecoming, I think it's great that we actually have a league to look forward to now. Right, it's kind of the start of a new season. Right, we talked to the team. It's the 8 mile to Detroit. There's 8 games. Here we go. This is mile marker 1. Got to take care of the first mile. Got to get out of the gate fast. And but I'm looking forward to hopefully starting fresh, and gathering that data from the first 4 games. What we got to do, and here we go. And that's the best part about being in the MAC now. We got something else to look forward to instead of being dead in the water at 0-4.
Win or loss aside, where do you feel this team is compared to what where you thought it would be after non-conference play? Are you ahead of the curve, or are you a little bit behind the curve? How do you look at it?
Yeah, I think from a results standpoint, obviously no one wants to be 0-4. That's what we get judged on. I get that, but I just think there's a lot of pieces, a lot of new players, a lot of things that I probably thought we could fix faster. But ultimately, being back in this chair, looking back, I started 0-3 at Maine, my first year. And all the hard things, but this is extremely hard to do what we want to do, and we're not gonna quit on that. We're not gonna give up. But I think just learning, we've had to teach a little bit of everything, right, and take some time. So I thought last week, we had an atrocious practice on Tuesday, and then we had our best practice on Wednesday, and then we kind of flatlined out. Wasn't terrible, but not the practices we needed on Thursday and Friday. So this will be about. This week has to be a great week in order for us to play a great game. And we have not played even close to a complete game. And if you look at some of the games that we've been involved in, it's been a little bit of good for a little while, and then we've stalled out, right? We haven't done that. So, but I just know we got to keep putting in the work and keep going forward, and ultimately, hopefully, we get the result we want. But, I think a lot of our players just want it to happen. That's not the way that it works, right? The win has to seek you out. If you do the right things and you create winning habits, the win will happen. Right? It's your input that creates the output. Right? We don't get the result before the game. So we have to have a better input during the week, moving forward, and that'll put us in a great position to hopefully come out with the result and the scoreboard at the end of the day.
Obviously, no moral victories, but what do you take? What were some of the encouraging signs you saw from playing in an atmosphere, playing whether it's the way they played, how hard they played, some of the things you were able to do, anything encouraging from last week?
Yeah, I think, the last two environments we've played in, I think was a little bit of a shock for some of our players and maybe some of our staff that has been in those environments. It's major college football. For me, the first two games that I was involved in here, I kind of took those environments for granted, being part of it the last 6 years. It's kind of what you expect. But I think just for us as a whole, I think it's, the margin for error in those games is so much more, you take it for granted because the level of competition is just raised, right? They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They got more players, they play more players on teams. So, I said to the team after, like, I'm done telling them, hey, good job playing hard. Like, to me, that's what you're supposed to do, right? And I'm done coaching it. Like, if you're not going to play hard, like, you're not going to play. Like, people probably didn't even notice, like, 4 guys didn't start on Saturday because they didn't do the right things during the week. Like, it's not nothing comes before the team, right? And if you're late in the door by 30 seconds or a minute, you're not going to play and you're not going to start. So those are the things that we get at. So, I mean, for me, yeah, I loved how we got the game to a level of uncertainty, right? There's no way that they expected to be in a 2-score game at half. There's just no way, right? And I've been on the opposite side of that, and we just can't finish now, right? That's where we got to get to. We got to get in the game, and we got to finish. But so I was encouraged by that. I thought we had a great halftime, and what we talked about Friday night was having that opportunity to be in that position, and we got it to that. All right, and we could have made it probably even better, maybe a 1-score game, but we had 21-6, and I showed him a clip of Rocky IV on Friday night, cutting the Russian. You got to cut Missouri. If you cut him, anything can happen because he didn't think he was going to be in that fight. So that's what we're trying to teach, right? All those things, and with them now, they are of the digital age, right? And I'm not going to, get into that too much, but trying to come up with unique ways to show them what they need to do. So I was encouraged by that, but ultimately, to me, that's a non-negotiable. You play football to play hard, right? If you're not in it to do the best and to win, why are you doing it? So that's exactly what I told them. And I just said, we got to step up our game. It's a new season, and here we go.
Health-wise, did you come out good? And what's the status of some of the other guys that weren't?
Yeah, much better than the last previous week. So hopefully we get a chance to get Maya back. Zoran Daniel, hopefully. See how the week goes. Ryan Barnes, Keith. They're actually literally out on the field doing everything they got to do right now with Coach Stern and some of those guys with their rehab process. So, and where that's hurting us a lot is teams. Is special teams, because we got a lot of guys that are playing on offense, defense now that are also having to step up. Usually for the most part a starter, 1 to 2 max. We have some of those guys are core 4 guys that we gotta step up. So hopefully that can happen. I'm encouraged by the progress they're making, but some of these guys too are, it's the physical part that we're not gonna be able to evaluate until Saturday in terms of just delivering a blow or a hit. So hopefully we can put ourselves back in that, but we came out of the game much better than we did the previous week.
What do you see when you watch the tape of Western Michigan on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I'm impressed. They're not a 2-3 football team. They've lost to 2 Power 4 opponents. They've lost to a 5-0 North Texas team, right? They beat who everyone picked to win the league at home, and then they just beat the 6th or 7th ranked team in the FCS. So I'm extremely impressed. Coach Taylor and his staff. I mean, offensively, they started the year playing a couple guys. Now they've kind of settled on one, and they do a lot of things to challenge you formationally. I've won against Coach Bell when he was at Indiana, when I was at Rutgers in 2022. Like it's a hard game plan to come up with, and they're going to challenge us in every way to get lined up, stretch the field vertically, horizontally. Q run game is challenging because there's an extra hat every time. And I think they've hit their groove here the last 2 weeks with what they want to do, with their identity. And then defensively, I'm a defensive guy, and I'm extremely impressed. I mean, that edge player that they have, I don't want to say his name wrong, Tucker, he might be one of the best we faced all year. He's a legit havoc wrecker. The other guy on the other side, number 28, bad. Their D-line does a great job with their hands. I think as a whole, block destruction for me as a defensive coach is number one. They probably do the best job of all the MAC teams that I've seen so far on tape. So they're going to be downhill. They create chaos. They have a lot of different coverages. They spin from different areas. They're rotating everything. So, Coach O'Leary, who I ran into a couple times in the path recruiting when he was at Notre Dame, he's a secondary guy, so he's going to put him in positions. And they've taken advantage of bad throws, tricking quarterback, confusing them. So we got to try and control the chaos, and we got to take advantage of hopefully some of the things that we believe we can. But overall, I'm impressed. It's year 3 for them, and you can tell their guys play hard. They have a culture, and this will be a very, very big challenge for us because, again, people label them as 2 and 3. They ain't.
Offensively, how do you go against the defensive front that strong?
Yeah, we got to come up with ways to put ourselves in the best position possible. I think our guys need to step up. I think we need to play violently. I think we need to play together. And ultimately, we got to control us. Right? They'll do some things. They're going to make some plays. And we just got to put ourselves in the position to take advantage of what they give us. A lot of it will be the game plan and what we do, but then we have to go out and execute. I think a lot of the things we're running into now is like when we get into certain situations, some of the responses we get during the game is kind of from left field. So we have to do a better job coaching them on their detail, and they got to go out and execute their 909. Do your job, 1 mile, 1 play at a time. And if we do that, we'll put ourselves in position where we bring our head up to hopefully be in the game in the 4th quarter.
Talked about it being a 3-quarterback decision. What's Brandon's status going into that?
Yeah, he's recovering. He's probably in the same group as those other 4 guys I mentioned. So, but again, Brandon's more of, just like Z, one hit it could be done. I know you could say that for anyone on the team, but he's doing a great job. We probably could have risked it and taken a risk there last week, but I'm not going to put a guy in that can't protect himself, right? Whoever that is, So we just got to see how it goes, but he's close. And ultimately, whoever prepares the best and goes out, we feel like give us the best opportunity. And that's the thing, just want to make sure everyone knows I don't have favorites. I don't. So I haven't been here long enough to have favorites.
You kind of just talked about it, but the team's had trouble scoring at the second half so far this season. Just what do you like to see improve in that regard?
Yeah, I think it just starts, again, I think we started the second half there. I mean, we had, 4 or 5 3-and-outs. We got our first down, I think, with the completion to Gibby, I believe, on the over route. I think it's first and second down efficiency. I know people probably don't want to hear that, but against power 4 opponents and you're in 3rd and long, it's just not going to work. So we got to put ourselves in better position. And I look at just our opponent; they've been getting themselves into the last 2 games in some pretty good 3rd downs. All right, they're running the quarterback; they're doing a good job there. They're taking advantage of that and putting themselves in 4th down positions where they can go out and get it. So I just think overall operation on offense is we gotta step up our game. We know that. Everybody surrounding the quarterback has to step up their game. I know everyone just labels the quarterback as the guy, but everybody around them has to step up. So I think just better efficiency-wise on 1st and second down will put us in a better position. And then we got simple things like playing pitch and catch on Saturday, right? I mean, we got to be able to do that, right? So, but we got to step up our game. I know we're hungry for that, and I know we're better on offense than we've been shown.
What do you make of Marquez White's success earlier this year?
Yeah, awesome. Just a guy that, when we watched him on tape before he was here, plays the game the right way. It's a non-negotiable for him in his own mind to play as hard as he can. So, I thought he's been doing a great job. Obviously, I think we had 4 sacks coming into that game. We had 4 on Saturday. So credit to the defensive staff, and with all the injuries that we've had, what those guys have done in terms of putting together a game plan to put our guys in position. I mean, we had 2 walk-ons playing at safety that were 5th on the depth chart on either side going into the year. I give credit to those guys. Mike Pangaro, Jose Terran, they went in there. Mike almost had a sack against the 15th ranked team in the SEC. So no matter who's in there, we're going to go ahead and put them in a position. But I think it's a credit to the defensive staff and what they've done. But ultimately, your great players got to play the hardest, and they got to set the standard. And I think Marcus White is doing that.
The pressure you were able to put on Purdue against Missouri, how much of that was by design? How much of that was the players stepping up?
Yeah, I think first it starts with a game plan and understanding that, but I think there's a level of at some point there's going to be a stalemate in your one-on-one. Right? There's 11 one-on-ones, and it's going to be your will to want to finish. Certainly, I think some of the stuff we did put them in positions where we could take advantage of it, which again, credit to the defensive staff. But we've also seen early in the season, we didn't finish at the quarterback. Right? It's great to look at it on the whiteboard, and you got a free guy. You still need to finish. And I think especially on that guy, who is causing everybody problems, to be able to get him down 4 times was pretty impressive. So I think it's a combination probably of both. I think it's a better understanding of rush lanes. We talk about our rush lanes like home plate, right? If the quarterback's standing in the middle of home plate, if you rush 5, right, there's 5 corners to the plate. If you rush 4, there's 4 corners. If you rush 3, there's 3 corners. And we got to kind of collapse the pocket. Our issue early in the season, we're not getting to the level of the quarterback on the backside of the pressure. So it's about everything. If all the pressure's coming from the left, if this guy doesn't put the cap on the toothpaste, it's going to go spilling out. And that's kind of what we've run into an issue with. I thought we had a better understanding of rush lanes. And then obviously defensively, I've never had speaking of someone else, I've never had a line like Timmy Einspeeder had. That is a ridiculous line. I used to see that line when I was at a triple option school, and they used to put the guy in the middle of the defense, go middle hitter, and just run around. So him, Rashad Henry, Tyler Martin, that linebacker crew did a really good job at that. That stat line's ridiculous, so credit to him.
Thanks, Coach.